Hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome to Wrestleview Live number 113 for the WrestleMania Sunday live review and discussion. And oh my God, is this discussion going to be a little different than it was last night? I've tried not to share too much of my thoughts with Victoria. I've tried not to share too much of my thoughts with the chat. I did dump a little on Twitter. Sorry. But I have a lot to say, and I hope that my voice holds up so I can say it all tonight. Whatever that cough was that you all heard on the podcast last night, it's totally turned into laryngitis. So I hope that Roy, Victoria, and Jerome are ready to do a lot of talking because I'm going to be doing a lot of listening at certain points of this show. But we say hello to our SmackDown recapper, Roy Nemmer.
We say hello. Hi, Mike, Victoria, Jerome, and everybody in the chat. Mike, you got to stop smoking, buddy.
I know. Jeez, we got Victoria, my dear wife from the Post Raw show.
Hi, everyone. Mike's actually lying. This wasn't from the cough last night. Mike's just really pissed off right now.
Screaming. I just can't. I can't tonight. I just cannot believe what happened tonight. There's this guy on wrestling Twitter that I just can't stand. His name is John Alba. He's a bastard prick. Just putting it out there.
Tell us how you really feel like.
Can we just introduce Jerome first before you go into
but guy? he somehow got into the media scrum with Triple H tonight, and he had to ask, like, Jesus Christ, you had the chance to make a John Cena level superstar, and you guys didn't pull the trigger. So what's when I'm agreeing with John Alba. Come on. And of course, our roving reporter, Jerome Weiland, here with 2.5 feet of snow.
Yeah. Welcome to winter in Montana, or spring in Montana, I guess.
Well, we just got to address it. The elephant in the room. The main event of WrestleMania Sunday saw Roman Reigns defeat Cody Rhodes after every bloodline finish you've ever seen before. It was just the exact same thing. Solo Sikoa hits Cody Rhodes in the throat with the Samoan spike while the referee is being distracted. Spear, the American Dream turns into the American Nightmare. Who wants to go first?
Me.
All right.
Okay, what the hell? I don't know. No, really, it's. I don't know. I'm not one to say like, oh, for sure, definitely. Like, usually if I'm going to make a very strong and like bold predictions, like 99%, like, this is going to happen. So for me, I was 99% sure. I'm like, Cody Rhodes is going to freaking win. Like, it has to happen. Granted, we're close to that like 1,000 mark days and rain and everything like that.
Who cares?
But exactly. And that's exactly right, Mike. Who cares? It's not what. Well, here's the thing. When they mentioned the other individuals who reached that, level of longevity in their titles and everything, it's a totally different time. And what's scary is the fact that if anybody watched the press conference after with Heyman and Reigns, almost every question was geared towards like, what's next? What do you plan on doing? What's next? Like, what's the next goal? And the terrifying part about their response is like, we haven't even touched the surface yet. So they've essentially confirmed that he's not going anywhere as your champion, that this is going to. And no matter what basically is going to happen, that he's going to be unbeatable at this point. And we are in for a long haul of this. We are, because they said that in every response tonight, every person who asked that question, they were like, we haven't even touched the surface yet. Are you serious? I thought we were close to closing that chapter. I thought that book. I thought tonight, book done, finish, over. Nope, haven't even touched the surface apparently.
Yeah, and I see everybody saying, "Oh yeah, WWE wants to do the 1,000 days." Oh, the 1,000. Who cares about 1,000 days other than some nerdy little stat bitch in a couple of years is gonna be like, oh, Roman Reigns held it for 1,000 days and we can put it in his Hall of Fame video package. Meanwhile, how many missed opportunities have there been? Okay, I can understand Sami Zayn. Like, you think like the guy is so super over. It's like, okay, are they really going to pull the trigger at Elimination Chamber when he's held the title for so long? No, the title reign's got to end at WrestleMania. So they get to WrestleMania and they don't end it. Oh, because it has to be 1,000 days. Does anybody really seriously care? Will that make the finish that much better if it's 1,000 days? He's got to match Hulk Hogan's championship reign. So it's a racist doesn't have the title reign record. Who cares? Who literally cares? They just missed an opportunity that was like how they got 2 gifts this year. Sami Zayn obviously was just, a sweetheart, hope for the best, kind of thing, kind of like willed into existence. I don't want to discount what he did. Incredible storytelling, incredible facials, incredible, everything with Sami Zayn. The bloodline storyline was just tremendous for him. And obviously it led him to the main event of WrestleMania. But he was not going to, everybody wanted it, but and it kind of made sense, because he was so over, but it just was never going to happen for Sami Zayn. But it's like, okay, we get to WrestleMania. It's Cody Rhodes. His merchandise is selling at the level of Reigns. He has the entire crowd behind him. He's giving his title belt to Brody Lee's son before the match. Or his weightlifting belt to Brody Lee's son before the match. The stars are aligned. His kid, he picks up his kid puts the head on the shoulder. It's like the perfect moment. You have a chance to make a John Cena level face. And it's like, oh no, well, they can just do it in Detroit. Mike, you fucking Mark. They can just do it in Detroit, right? 80,000 people will be there in Detroit. It'll mean just as much as SummerSlam. No, it won't. It won't. Not as many people watch SummerSlam as they do WrestleMania. WrestleMania means more. Shut! I can't say.
Okay, I've been having to deal with. I have 2 questions for everybody here, for in chat, and also for you guys.
I'm gonna let them talk because I'm done.
2 questions. Like I said before, so they were very confident in the fact that this is just the beginning. But where do you go? And my other question. No. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Let me finish. Cody Rhodes, even in himself too. This is the second, like a part 2 of the question. Why does he agree to this?
So,
I've
been trying to wrap my head around it since the referee hit the 3, and where do they go from this? I'm watching the press conference, and Roman kept saying, this is just another chapter. The movie's not over, and this and that. And I'm beginning to think long-term booking, is Cody even going to be the guy to dethrone Roman? Because I'm going through my mind right now, and Roman's defeated everybody, bar possibly Seth Rollins, clean or something. Like, is Seth going to be the guy?
Yeah, let's go back to Seth Rollins is already made.
That's the thing. Like, is it going to be Seth? It can't be Cody, because if it is going to be, it should have been tonight. I don't think they're going with the whole 1,000 days, to be perfectly. I never bought into that. I don't believe it's that.
Well, he's at 945 now.
I know, and SummerSlam will have surpassed 1,000. I don't think it's that. I just think it's a matter of they wanted to maybe shock everybody, and maybe they don't think Cody's ready just yet. I don't know. I'm trying to wrap my head. There's no one else. He's beaten everybody. You're gonna bring Braun from fucking NXT.
No, don't worry. The apologists on Twitter say he still has to face Bobby Lashley and Randy Orton, Randy Orton's probably never coming back to wrestling. Randy Orton. We're gonna sidestep Cody Rhodes for now, so Randy Orton at 42 years old can have one more title run. Give me a break.
Yeah.
AJ Styles was the other one too.
Is it
AJ Styles mid-40s? Give me a break.
No. Is it going to be
they for Braun Breaker until everybody cancels him because they just start thinking, his father's a transphobe, man. Maybe he is too.
Yeah. Is it going to be Austin Theory? Is it going to be? I don't know. I don't know. And And to answer your second part, Victoria, why would Cody agree to this? I don't know if these were the original plans when he first signed up a year ago, contract-wise. I don't know. They probably told him, hey, we'll give you a WrestleMania moment. It's not a guarantee you'll win the title. And now, is it also a fact that we're getting new owners? Maybe they want Roman? I don't know. I don't... again, this makes no sense. I know they went for the surprise factor, and it's good to get surprised sometimes. By all means, I'm nothing bad about that. But where, I wrote it in the chat, where the fuck do you go from here? Forget the fact that
we were asking these
perfect
questions.
guy. There's no one left.
We were asking these questions on WrestleMania Sunday last year. He beat everybody a million times. Brock Lesnar, God, it's like, thinking like that was when Vince was booking and there was like literally nobody over to face Roman Reigns. Triple H did a good job of getting all these guys over. Like, got Drew McIntyre over, then he beat him. Yeah. Okay, we can't do that anymore. He got, Logan Paul was just kind of a buffer.
Filler,
just to have a match at Saudi Arabia. It was never going to happen, but they can make it a spectacle. Kevin Owens, okay, fine. Beat him twice or 3 times. I can't remember. Sami Zayn, and now Cody Rhodes. Like, Cody Rhodes was the one who was unblemished from this entire thing because he came in halfway through, has this beautiful story being told that people buy into, people believe in. Triple H told the story tonight on the press conference. Like, the little girl, the girls that were dancing with Bianca Belair during her entrance tonight. The little girl, remember the little girl that was the contortionist, pulled her legs over her head. It was like unbelievable. Her mother passed away this morning. And he got all emotional, talking about that. And it's like, people who have lost a parent, and like Cody Rhodes dedicating the match to his father and stuff like that. It's like, who can't connect with a story like that? And then, like, where else he paid off but WrestleMania? Like so many reports of the people leaving WrestleMania Saturday last night was just like, I don't know. I forget if it was off air or on the air, but we talked about like, those days of the 10 million hour WrestleMania shows, like at WrestleMania 35, when we were there in 2019, we were like, the main event started at like 12:30 at night, 12:30 a.m. And by the end of it, you're just like, oh, thank God that's over. I'm ready to go home. Like there's no way you should ever be leaving WrestleMania like that. And by all the reports I read last night, people were leaving. They were celebrating, singing Sammy's songs. Just the feeling was just a feeling of, just good, which is really how everybody should be leaving WrestleMania. WrestleMania should be something where kind of things culminate and you have the feel good ending. It's like, yeah, but it should be like all the way through, I'm not saying that, you book Cody Rhodes to go over just because it's a feel good moment, but like, it literally makes sense. It makes sense for him to go over.
That was the number one reason why to do it.
Why? I can't imagine another reason
why.
That's
the number one reason why to do it, because he was literally the only one who obviously, because he hadn't been there for so long that he hasn't gone through. He does have this incredible story. And honestly, another reason why it makes sense too, because it's partially the very reason why Cody left in the first place was the fact that, that they weren't doing anything with him. They were like overlooking him and going to other people, and the same mundane thing was happening over and over again with these individuals, and here we are again. We're going back to the fact that of what they know and what they do, and Roman Reigns. So it's like, okay, here I am. I'm back in this company, and it's like they're overlooking me once again. That they don't have enough confidence in me to be the champion.
Yeah. I see a lot of people saying like, like, oh, the plans for Cody Rhodes, before he got injured was supposed to be like Money in the Bank, and he was supposed to fail out of cash in or whatever. It's like, okay, that's kind of like the same. We're going back to like the Vince mentality of booking now, where it's like Daniel Bryan, for example, WrestleMania 30 wins in that unbelievable WrestleMania. People, talk about people leaving with a good feeling. I remember I was there. Like, other than the Undertaker streak thing, everybody left with a very good feeling. And no matter how over Daniel Bryan stayed, if he didn't get injured, no matter how over he was, that match that John Cena had against Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam was supposed to be Daniel Bryan in that role. So no matter how over he was, it was always going to be, he's going to be fed to Brock and killed, which is the wrong mentality. If you have somebody who's over, you ride that hot hand.
Yeah.
Who's driving people to shows? Brock Lesnar was a part-timer then. It's like tonight, like Cody. Yeah, maybe that was the plan for Cody Rhodes. But if his merchandise is the thing that they care about, like those things, like who makes the most money here? Who's put Cody Rhodes on a card? He drives people to the shows. Put Cody Rhodes on, say it's the 10 o'clock hour. That area of Monday Night Raw gets high ratings. The guy's moving the needle. Mm-hmm. These are all the metrics that they care about. And you still don't pull the trigger because, that was the plan?
I also have another question.
I can't go anymore.
Another question for you guys too. And Jerome, I don't know if you want to start off with this one. Because now I'm going down a rabbit hole. I'm going down a complete rabbit hole of, again, the thoughts of like what we haven't even touched the surface. Because the bloodline has been a huge part of the storytelling. Are they really looking at The Rock in a few years?
They're looking at The Rock for WrestleMania 40, probably.
I hope not. I mean, that would just be a slap in the face, I think, to Cody and the company. But I just don't know. I don't see that happening. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think they just want Roman to beat him, just to say that he beat him.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? At that point? He doesn't need to be the
stupid.
champion to do that. He doesn't need to be champion.
No, I agree with you, but I'm just now, because like I said, I'm going down this rabbit hole of all these different scenarios, and my thought process is thinking to, because
Lashley.
Is this going to be a thing where they're making that like, okay, well, blood is so important, and Rock comes in and is like, you're not really doing what the family wants you to do and everything else, and being whatever. I just fear of what their mentality is at this point, and I don't really know how you come out of this. I don't know how you turn this around, because this to me was like the big opportunity tonight to just say, hey, we can do this in a logical way and a good way and a fun way where people are happy about it and excited about it. And now you're feeling like, okay, because now if the title changes too and it doesn't make sense, it's like, okay, is everyone just going to applaud at that point because it's like it's over? I don't know.
If it's not The Rock, do they stay within the bloodline? I mean, Roman's kept talking in the press conference earlier tonight, or just a couple of minutes ago. He said, we're telling long-term booking, right? We're giving you a filet mignon. We're not giving you fast food. Is it Jay? Is it ultimately Solo? Does something happen? Again, down that rabbit hole. Is it The Rock? Who's it going to be at this point? I mean, he's defeated everybody.
Right, and eventually you have to tell a story that people remain committed to and interested in. It's like if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, people are going to start to lose that interest. Let's pause for a second here. We have a legend on the line here.
Thank you,
absolute legend.
Thank you, Mike. But you already introduced me.
I know I did. We have a secondary legend here.
Oh, okay.
We have our own webmaster, Mr. Paul, on the line tonight. All the way from Lebanon.
Paul.
Yes.
Paul.
7:49 a.m., guys.
Oh my gosh, you are committed, Paul.
What are you doing up and looking so
course.
perky at 7:49 in the morning?
I have meetings. I don't sit around all day, do nothing like Roy. I have meetings.
It's difficult.
Man, talk about bloodline here.
It's difficult to be this charming and this charismatic and this humble, Paul. I get it. You wouldn't understand. It's okay.
What do you think? He wakes up and he looks like that by accident? It takes time.
I honestly, screw the bloodline with Reigns and everybody. I want to see a Nemmer versus Nemmer match.
Tiger versus Tiger.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes. He'd be in my shadow. So.
I gotta let you in at something eventually.
Paul, what do? You want to be on at 7:49 in the morning. You have something to say, obviously. What's going on?
Guys, they didn't do this for nothing. I think there's something that's up. Either a title changes hands on Raw tonight, tomorrow night, whatever. Something has to give. I don't see Rambo continuing for another year, Something has to give. And I think it was done purposely and for a reason, not just for fun. Oh, let's just keep a Bruno Sammartino run for 7 years. I think there's something brewing and something soon and really soon.
It could be. I mean, it's hard to say though, you know.
That'd be interesting.
But is it a
Changing
good
on
a brewing? There's something a brewing. We know something's a brewing. Is it good though?
Well, it's going to be the title off Roman Reigns, so it has to be good.
Right. And that's, and like I said, that's just what sucks about it. Cause it's just like, now you're, if it's not Cody, right, then you're like, okay, now we're all just like looking for, like, at this point, you don't care if Hornswoggle comes back and beats Roman Reigns. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't care.
I mean, I would care about that.
No.
To be clear, I would care. I would care deeply.
So
it's
go ahead.
sorry.
Ray.
No, ladies first, Paul.
Go ahead, Roy.
Age before beauty, Paul. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Roy.
No, I was just gonna say, like, whoever gets the belt off, whether it's on Raw, whether it's whenever it is, it's gonna be big. But is it gonna be something like what they did with the Undertaker and the streak? Like down the years, are they gonna regret it and say, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have broken the streak. Maybe it should not have been Brock. It should have been someone else. Or are we gonna look at it the same way and say, whoever breaks the streak should not have been that person. It should have been Cody.
Well, I think we can safely say it shouldn't have been Brock, because Brock was already over and was already a monster and didn't need to beat the Undertaker. He was the man.
Yeah.
So why should, anyway, that's a different story. But I still think something has to do with Cody Rhodes. I still think Cody Rhodes might on Raw, something, I don't know. Because look, in a booking perspective, you had the Usos drop the titles on Saturday and just dismantle the bloodline and have Roman lose on Sunday too. Again, if you think about it now, after this happened, go, okay, yeah, it's too predictable. So maybe they're just doing something for the time, like for the short period. I don't know.
Yeah. Hard to say. To me, it just feels like they just want to get to that 1,000 days, and that's all they care about. That's their singular focus. Let's keep the titles on him for 1,000 days. Move, the one person that, probably for the rest of our lifetimes, that'll hold the title for 1,000 days or more. It's like really like the last vestige of that ever happening. So maybe that's what they want. And doesn't mean it's right. Doesn't mean that it was the right decision. I think like it's such an arbitrary number, 1,000. Like why stop at 1,000? Why not 2? Like who cares? Like at a certain point, like how many people have to get brought down? Like if the focus is always 1,000 days, don't have Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble.
Right.
Have him win Money in the Bank at London and then say I'm going to cash in at SummerSlam in the main event.
But and I agree with that. But then again, if you go back, who the hell would have won the Rumble?
Who cares? Because they're expendable at that point.
Yeah.
Have Sami Zayn win the Royal Rumble. Put Sami Zayn in the main event of WrestleMania. That would have been fine. And then he would have beat him, and then it would have been like, all right, well, Sami Zayn probably was not going to be, John Cena. But like Cody Rhodes, there's something about him. He's got that baby face thing that's he's like it reminds me of like a Ricky Steamboat or something like that, people that he probably would have grown up under their tutelage anyway.
It's tough, and it's also the fact that for the past 2.5, 3 years we've been getting the same ending as well. It's that gets a little sucky after a while. Like I get it, he wasn't ever going to beat him clean, but at the same time, Roman's never beaten anyone clean at this point.
No, he hasn't. Like really, like everything has like this like unbelievable amount of interference and referee distractions, referee bumps. Like I feel like I'm watching like a title match in the Attitude Era constantly. It's like ref bump, big botchy, big bougie finish or a schmaz finish. It's just Steamboat wasn't a top draw. Well, I guess he wasn't the top draw. Ric Flair was, but
he was a top draw.
He was a top draw.
Yeah, but Flair was way more.
Well, yeah, but he helped Ric Flair stay as a top draw, especially as he started getting older in his title reign. But who cares? But anyway, Ricky Steamboat is the point is that Ricky Steamboat was a great baby face. That and like he was never a heel. Like Cody Rhodes could be a heel, but like he's a much better face. Anyway, who cares? I just don't know where you go from here. Again, it's like we were having the same conversation on WrestleMania Sunday last year, where it's like, God, like everybody once again has been beaten by Roman Reigns. Where do you go from here? And the only reason that we're even kind of interested in this title reign right now is because Triple H is doing a much better job of it than Vince McMahon. But how many times can you build somebody up to like this peak and then pull the carpet out from under them before people are like, all right, I've seen enough of this. I don't even care who wins at this point. Is that a possibility? Look, when it happens, people won't care?
Here's the thing, though. Every person that Roman has beaten, or the stars that he's beaten, Drew was already a champion before Reigns beat him. Lesnar was already a champion before Reigns beat him. So all these guys that were like buried were champions before going up against Roman Reigns, with the exception maybe of like Sami Zayn, right? Everybody else were like already defined in some way. Cody wasn't. Cody was never a WWE champion. And that's like the first thing. So that's why I'm saying something has to give with Cody. It could be tomorrow night on Raw. It could be tonight for me, but it could be, it could be soon. I don't know. Something has to give. I don't think he's going to stay champion. And if he stays under that 1,000 days, it's stupid because he's never going to beat any record at 1,000 days. You got Bruno Sammartino at 7 years and you've got Hulk Hogan at 5, I think, years. It's like, It's impossible unless they're really aiming for something stupid like that.
Well, they Roman Reigns was like, oh yeah, we're only in the third inning of this game. I'm like, third inning? God, I think I've seen enough.
Yeah, are we going 9 years?
It's just like every time they do like one of these WrestleManias, it's like, you just kind of end it. You're just like, God, like another year of this, another year of these finishes, these matches. I mean, like they're not bad, It's like Paul Heyman gave Brock Lesnar when he came back like one style of match, just hit 700,000 finishers and that's the end. Eventually that grows tiring. It's like, Brock Lesnar matches don't have the same punch that they had like a couple years ago because, after a while, it just gets less and less exciting. The Roman Reigns matches, I like, as soon as Solo Sikoa hit that fucking Samoan spike, I was just like, you got to be kidding me. Again, the same finish you've been doing 3 WrestleManias in a row. Come on.
I was hoping we'd get like Cody actually kick out of that. But once he hit that spear, or was it Superman punch right after? I'm like, oh,
the spear.
Yeah, I'm like, he's not kicking out. Yeah, he's not kicking that. It's hopefully Paul's right. Hopefully we get a title change on Raw. But if so, they may as well just have done it tonight.
I know, but the thing is that the night after WrestleMania, the Raw after Mania is like a Mania.
Yeah, but they're going to sell. If the announcement is right that the announcement will be made today on Monday that they got sold or are being sold. Fuck, that's big enough as it is.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so let's talk about that news real quick. Endeavor, who is the parent company of UFC, is rumored potentially tomorrow or today in Paul's time. Actually, it's today in all of our time
today
right now. It's 1 a.m. everywhere. You hear, well, except for Jerome. Jerome's still on yesterday, but almost he's almost on today.
2 more hours. One more hour, actually. 1 more hour.
WWE will be purchased by Endeavor, and Endeavor will own 51%, and 49% will stay with the shareholders of WWE, with Vince McMahon maintaining his control as executive chairman in that deal.
How does that change in booking?
Well, it's like because Conor McGregor can now face Roman Reigns, I guess. I don't know. It's like, it's like, is that why we're doing this? Is that why? I don't know.
And that really should not really be the driving force of why we do things in the first place. It's just it's
like, well, Logan Paul and Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar, they're all, ex-UFC people that are really, really great in this genre. Maybe they're going to, Bobby Lashley is another guy that is, in MMA. Oh, we can just bring any MMA person in there and have a great match.
Cain Velasquez.
Oh yeah, that was great.
He served a hard time. Put him versus Dom.
Ooh, big boss man.
There you go.
I you know, it's like I've been talking. We've been talking about this for a half hour, and I still my mind is completely befuddled by this entire thing. I have tried to come up with reasoning for why you don't go put Cody Rhodes over tonight. I'm still absolutely confounded. Absolutely confounded. Jerome, I don't hear much from you. What do you think of this whole entire situation here?
I don't know. I thought Roman was going to retain anyway. I mean, that was my thought in the onset. But then when Cody came out and he gave his belt to, Brody Lee's son, his wife was there, his kid was there, I thought, okay, they're going to do a title change. They have to do a title change tonight. It's inevitable. And then once, Roman, whatever his name is, he comes in, does the, he does that, thumb,
spike.
The spike, and then the spear. I'm like, oh no. But I was hoping that Cody would have kicked out, and then when he didn't kick out, I was like, really?
That's exactly my reaction. With a couple colorful phrases thrown in there too.
But and then I had this one thought, minus the UFC potential UFC sale. I had this one thought. Okay, Kenny Omega's in negotiations right now with AEW. Are they going to bring in Kenny Omega and make him dethrone Roman? That was my first thought.
No way on the planet Earth.
No.
I mean, it's just the way I was thinking. That's just kind of the way I was thinking.
That rabbit hole. The rabbit hole.
Yeah, I know.
It's the rabbit hole.
Ever did that.
We're all going to be in that rabbit hole. We're all going to think these crazy things.
I don't think Cody's
bring Josh Alexander in. They're going to bring Josh Alexander in. He's dropping the Impact title belt.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I don't know. I think Cody's chance was at WrestleMania tonight. Well, tonight for me, but I don't think they're going to put the title on him. I think he's moving on to other things, maybe Intercontinental. I don't know. They blew it.
I agree with you on that. It's like Cody Rhodes is just going to go for the IC title. He's gonna have great match against Gunther. That'll be fun.
It was a booking blunder. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't see it.
They built him so much for him to just go up to a mid-card level now. I think it's just something's, like I said, I'm going to repeat myself. Something has to give. Come out on Raw, say you never beat me fair and square. Something stupid. And I
could see Paul's point too. I mean, it just, I don't know.
Which is all fine and well. Like if that's really again what they're intending on doing, it's just, I think it's just the point. I think we're all in agreement. It's like if it happens tomorrow, if it happens 10 days from now, 20 days from now, next pay-per-view, whatever, it's just stupid because it should happen at WrestleMania.
Whatever it'll be diminished.
Right.
And the other thing that is annoying about this too is that Cody Rhodes, most likely what's going to happen is he's either going to come out tomorrow or tonight on Raw and just say like, oh, I let my family down. He's never, like most of the people that lose to Roman Reigns never really acknowledge that like there was a shitload of interference in my match. It's like, no, I lost to Roman Reigns. It's like, no, like this is bullshit. Hold on a second here. He's gonna sit there.
I'm sorry. Unless they do what Paul said, they do something different on Raw on Monday. They make the announcement on Monday afternoon that Endeavor's the primary shareholder, primary owner of WWE. Then they start a new era and make a title change on Raw. I mean, but with Cody, I don't know. Hard to say.
It's kind of like what they did when they went to Fox, right? They went to Fox and Lesnar just destroyed Kofi in like 8 seconds or something like that.
Yep.
It's maybe we get that. I don't know. Do we give Paul Levesque the benefit of the doubt and say, look, he's done well so far, or well enough, all things considered so far, that kind of give him a pass and see how this goes? Are we overreacting? I don't know. I'm just I'm thinking about it, right? Like
you know what? Like I don't think I was overreacting last year on WrestleMania Sunday, and it just so happens like this beautiful thing happened where Vince McMahon just is driven out of creative that really kind of saved this whole entire thing, this whole entire Roman Reigns experiment, because really Paul Levesque has done a tremendous job with Roman Reigns and this title belt and this bloodline storyline. Ever since Vince is gone, like this, like everything is exponentially picked up.
Yeah, but don't. I mean, I know Vince has the final say on everything today.
He doesn't. Not anymore.
Well, he still. camera facing, he doesn't. I'm sure he does.
I'm sure he has input, but
yeah.
I mean, they're
who has the final say, right? Triple H.
They're probably telling their shareholders that Triple H is the guy making the final decisions. Like, are they lying to their? I hope they're not lying to their shareholders.
Do they care though? Do the shareholders care?
But then, if what you're saying is correct, why are we blaming Vince? Why aren't we blaming Triple H?
I am blaming Triple H.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
I am blaming him.
I'm saying, should we give him the benefit of the doubt
No.
because he's done well so far?
I gave him the benefit of the doubt with Sami Zayn.
Zayn was never going to win it. Even Zayn.
But dude, something happened on WrestleMania. I don't know if you guys talked about it. The Miz, when he was with the Snoop Dogg and he was mentioning the new, not the new tag champs, but the match, and he was saying Kevin Owens and hear this, wait, and then he mentioned Sami Zayn. Why did he do that? Is there something planned for Sami to even put him more over? I mean,
is he going to be the guy to dethrone Roman? That'll be.
Speaking of the Miz, Shane McMahon came back tonight. I was wondering if Shane's coming back as an authority figure, but he blew out his quad tonight. He must run in the family weak quads of the McMahon family. Wow, very bad quads. It even went to the son-in-law. Very bad, not good.
Was that prior to marriage? I don't know. Was the Triple H thing prior to marriage?
Yes.
He was still banging Stephanie.
Yeah, he was.
He was in it. He was in it to win it.
Anyway, I saw a sign that says, "Who books this crap?" And then the "Who" was WHHHO. Anyway, I got to get going, guys. It was really nice seeing you.
Good seeing you, Paul.
Thanks a lot for everything, and we'll talk soon. Enjoy
Bye,
Raw.
Paul.
Buddy. See you later.
I hope I'm right about Raw. Take care.
I hope so too.
I hope so too, Paul.
I'm gonna recap a banger.
We'll find out tomorrow or tonight for whoever it is tonight.
Check out Post Raw.
Bye, guys.
See you later. The great Paul Nemmer joining us. Wow. It's WrestleMania when Paul comes out.
Yeah, that was a surprise. Sorry, there was a comment. See, where is it? I think it was this regarding. I'll bring it up. Probably under instruction that Roman has to stay until the sale goes through. Guys, think that's a possibility? They're already pushing towards having. Hey, we'll take this, but we want to keep things as they are, sales as they are. Let's keep Roman as the guy. Is that a possibility?
It is. I think anything's a possibility at this point. I really do. There could be 1,000,001 reasons why, the storyline purposes, network purposes, merging purposes, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah. Maybe they did come up with that in agreeing and negotiating. We'll do this, but you got to keep Roman as your title winner.
Yeah. We see the numbers are up, merchandise are up. We want to keep this going at least till the summer. It could be. Then again, maybe not.
Yeah. I really don't know, and that's what's so frustrating. I think because there's no confirmation for sure on why they're doing the ways they do. There's certain things that when they make their decisions, you're like, okay, that's point blank. This is the reason why. But this is so there's so many ways that all of this can go about, and so many different factors that behind the scenes that we're not privy to. And you know what's interesting too? I don't think many people are privy to. I think it's a very select few. Even Roman's not very privy to certain things that happen. Who the hell knows? It could be anything.
I had another question that just popped up to everyone in the chat as well. And I thought about this as the match was going on. Are they trying to do this to swerve people for the potential if they get the licensing for betting? In terms of, hey, you never know what could happen. Everyone thought Cody, well, Roman won in the future. Could they use this as is that their thought process as well for potential bets in the future?
Wouldn't surprise me, but
that thing with gambling on a scripted on a story is ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous that people gamble on The Bachelor. Come on.
I find it ridiculous.
You're going to gamble on something that is so fake. It's fake. You can't gamble on something that's fake. That anybody could wake up. Vince McMahon can have a bowel movement and say, "Oh, I'm going to change the finish now." It's what?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
whatever the reasoning is, it has us talking, it has people talking, it has people want
I know.
Yeah. No, we're
happy or
suckers.
not,
We're all
makes me want to
suckers.
watch Raw. It
We're
makes me
all
wanna watch Raw.
suckers.
Yes,
We
yeah. I would have watched Raw if Cody Rhodes won.
I know.
You know, it's like oh
But-
yeah. It's like, come on.
No, it's like a bad relationship, like a
Damn
very
it.
toxic relationship. We keep coming back. We do. Like, think
Yeah.
about it. We're all sitting here. We're all talking about the show. I mean, we're 40 minutes into the show, and this is literally
thing
the
we've
only thing
spoken
we
about.
talked about. This is
It's
the
not
only
gonna be
thing.
over.
And we said actually yesterday, if you guys remember, we all said it yesterday. This could make or break our perspective on this entire weekend in general of
I said it.
how
Yeah,
you
but
feel. I mean, this is the
Yeah.
main event of main events, the second day, the one of the biggest talks of the entire, the past few months, because hello, again, title holder Cody Rhodes coming
Yeah.
back, all this huge hype around it, and then you're like,
I've got nothing. 40 minutes and I have nothing.
I don't either. And if Roy, you mentioned about like, do we give Paul the benefit of doubt? Yeah, me personally, I'll give him the benefit of doubt. But you better come with something good, because this was your opportunity. And if he could prove me wrong and thinking of something else that's even bigger than this opportunity tonight to take the title off of him, fine, I'll give it to you. But you really gotta sell it, because it's not. I mean, even though he's done 1,000,001 things right, this is a big thing. This is a huge thing that he's got to focus on.
Yeah, it's and now, because they have to, the bloodline has to show up on Raw. Like Roman normally doesn't, but after something like this is an absolute must, and we're gonna find out where they're heading, what direction, right? Who's gonna come out when Roman Reigns is talking? Is it gonna be Cody, or is it gonna be someone else?
I think it'll be somebody else. I think Cody will come out, but I think when Roman will talk, I think it'll be somebody else that we're not even thinking
we'll
of.
Save it for SmackDown. We'll save it for SmackDown. They're not going to put it
Maybe.
on Raw.
Maybe. I don't know.
Raw's not the show it used to be.
No.
Not
But if you're looking for a big pop if you're looking to pop a big rating with new owners, I mean, they could definitely. They have something up their sleeve, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, you know what? What the hell? Let's talk about the rest of the show, please.
Yeah.
We're not going to get any answers tonight. It's just not going to happen. Like my brain, like I already have a headache. My brain is just absolutely hurting right now. Like the monumental stupidity of this entire thing. Just like I cannot come up with an excuse. I cannot think of a reason why to continue it on, other than a ridiculous. Oh, it's going to be 1,000 days. It's going to be 1,000 days. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Round it up. Round it up. That's what they do with their attendance numbers. There definitely wasn't 81,000 people there tonight.
Wait, what number is he on? 945?
Yeah.
945? They can't round it up yet. He's got 5 more days. No, I'm saying 950 if you're talking about actual rounding. That's a teacher in me. Sorry.
Say there was like 7 leap years in between the title reign. Who cares?
Yeah.
God.
Count the pandemic as like times 2 days per day.
Yes,
like
yes,
times 2.
we all aged like, and for every day that we lived the pandemic, we aged a week. Like, come on.
Anyways.
Okay.
This show actually, there were certain times where I was like, something's wrong with this show.
Something fell off.
When Shane blew out his quad, when they had to stop the Hell in a Cell match because Finn was bleeding, I was like, something messy about this show. Something's weird.
I bet maybe it was Vince McMahon. He's like,
I almost felt this. I swear to God, this is like
you
totally
put the hex on the show.
Totally conspiracy theory now. I honestly thought it was like, well, God damn it, pal. And I can do a good impression of him tonight. Well, God damn it, pal. Why don't you book Saturday and I'll show you, and then I'll book Sunday and we'll see how it goes. God damn it.
Yeah, there were so many production errors and mistakes. I don't know if you guys caught them. Asuka asking for the green mist or the blue mist. There was a part that she was down and she was going like this to the ref, like, give it to me, and they gave it to her. And there was clearly a couple of times you saw the wrestlers just telling each other, instructing each other what to do, and it felt a step behind. And I know we normally don't like to compare the 2 nights, but it felt a step behind from last night. Like something was off. Something was off.
I'm not gonna lie,
I think
and
the crowd was tired. I felt.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so This is going to sound really bad, and I feel like I'm very negative tonight, and I really don't mean to be. But since we're talking about other things that are part of the show, please don't kill me, because if everybody else enjoyed this, I was not a fan of the Omos Lesnar match.
That's great.
I just, like I said, I didn't hate it. I wasn't like, I wasn't sitting there like, oh my God, this is the worst match of all time. How they start off with this and everything else. To me, it just, like I said, it didn't really do anything. Like, it didn't get me hyped up for the night. It didn't really like, and I think because just of Omos and who he is, and what can you really do with him? The fact that he lost, and like Lesnar, it's just like the whole thing. There were a lot of positives, but that kind of set the tone for me. Like I said, that's just personally. Other people could very much be like, "Oh no, I really enjoyed the match and actually got me really excited for the night," and whatever. Me personally, it didn't do much for me, so I wasn't a fan. And I think because too, I wasn't looking at it in isolation of just it being a match. I was looking at it again for like in terms of like long term, like something like Omos. Like, I don't think you're utilizing him properly. Like, he shouldn't really be losing, and whatever. It's just.
Omos.
I don't want to go into a whole big thing about Omos because he's not really the focus of the show, but the start of the show kind of gave me like not bad vibes, but I'm just like, this night can go either way for me. And a lot of other stuff happened tonight that I'm like, I was really happy about, but I don't know.
I'm coming to this horrible realization that I'm married to somebody who thinks that Omos should be in a bigger role than he.
No.
Actually is right now.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, if you're utilizing somebody like that, stop looking at me like a creep. First of all, that's a very creepy smile. You're being very creepy.
I fucking smile.
It's creepy. I don't know. Like I said, if you're using somebody like Omos, he should just win regardless, is what I'm saying. It's Brock Lesnar, it's whatever. It didn't do it for me. The match just didn't do it for me. That's all. It didn't do it for me. You can like it all you want. I don't care. You have your opinion. I didn't like it. Wasn't my favorite thing. Wasn't the worst thing in the world. I just didn't care for it. So sue me. Okay, Mike, sue me.
Okay, I will sue you. You'll get served in the morning.
I think that match was designed, or at least placed on the card, more for the people in the stadium than for those at home. I think as soon as Lesnar's music hit, he just got like the massive pop. At the same time, I think it served its purpose, that match. I didn't love it. I understood why they did it. I get it. It's just Omos is just not good in the ring.
It's terrible, horrible. But like WrestleMania is built on those things, like Big Show, Aki Bono, Undertaker versus Kane.
But Bam Bam Lawrence Taylor, even though that was a celebrity,
Bam Lawrence Taylor,
guys.
perfect example.
WrestleMania 11, yeah.
Yeah, anything with a celebrity. Bad Bunny, Roddy Piper versus Mr. T. Aki Bono versus Big Show. Did I say that one already? Floyd Mayweather versus Big Show. These are all spectacle matches.
It's
Big John
attraction
Stud
matches.
versus Andre the Giant.
Yeah,
the
it's
$10,000 body slam challenge.
It's attraction matches, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's just continuing that proud WrestleMania tradition. I like the big draw was Brock never picked him up at any point during the entire build. Can he do it? Yes, he did. And when he did, the place exploded. That's what it's supposed to do. The whole purpose was just to get
I understand the purpose. I'm not negating the fact that everyone, people are coming at me in the chat too. Oh, what match did you watch? Hello. I'm not saying we watched the same freaking match. I'm not saying that. I didn't do it for me. That's all. It wasn't my favorite freaking thing. I was talking about it in terms of everyone's thoughts of the weekend and the whole show in general. First match of the night, not for me. Not for me. Didn't do it for me. I understand its purpose and what it did.
You could have done without it. You could have done without it.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I could have done without Cody losing.
Right. We could. Exactly. So you all could go yourselves. No, I'm just saying, like, it really, no, in all seriousness, it's like, just, it wasn't for me. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
So the whole trajectory of the night, that's what I'm saying.
And to add to your point, and I would guarantee that ending absolutely deflates any crowd, I think, especially one that's attended 24 hours of wrestling in the past 2 days. But to add to your point, Victoria, and I get it, right? And I said it earlier, and I agree with Mike in terms of I understand it. It's the spectacle, but this does nothing for Omos. Like that's the issue in terms of like long-term wise. Like, what do you do with Omos now? It's just, okay, it's a throwaway. He had a spectacle. He has a WrestleMania moment. Put him on the side. Let's do something else. Like, we could have gotten a Gunther and Brock match, let's say. That would have been some attraction.
Yeah, but
Maybe,
like, we know Omos stinks. We know that he's really not a good wrestler. It's even like a stretch to even refer to him as a professional wrestler. He's just bad. This is like, they have him signed to a contract. They can't do much with him. Like, they could probably put him in a title match with Roman Reigns now. They probably could. It's just like, who cares now? Like, Roman Reigns is going to beat him anyway. So he's this big guy. They can't use him for much, so might as well just put him in these spots where you can get the most value out of him. I think these are the spots where you can get the most value out of him. He's putting him in matches where, like, Bobby Lashley beat him up last year. This year, Brock Lesnar beats him up. That's it. That's all you can do with him.
Yeah, it's Jerome. We need you to be the mediator. What do you think?
I honestly thought that Brock did a good job of making Omos look, like a beast, but I expected Brock was going to win. I can't see Brock jobbing to Omos, and I don't know. It just kind of felt like a Raw match to me, or maybe something that you put on Raw. It wasn't really all that exciting, but I mean, the crowd seemed to be behind it and get hyped up for it, and I think that was their purpose, was to just have that opening match to get that crowd hyped up and excited, because you could see that, especially when Brock slammed Omos, gave him the F5. The place exploded. So that served like we talked last night. The opening match serves the purpose of getting the crowd hyped up and getting them going, and that's what they did with the Omos Brock match.
Right.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Jerome. I think that it felt like more like a Raw match than a WrestleMania match, and that's another reason why too. Like, it just didn't do it for me. I don't know if it necessarily wasn't a groundbreaking match, and not every match in WrestleMania is going to be. You do need those like kind of fillers and everything else, but I agree.
Yeah.
Well, however fired up that match got the crowd, that women's showcase match did not do what the men's showcase match did last night and keep the momentum going. In fact, I thought I thought that killed the I thought that really killed the crowd for a little bit.
Talk about deflating.
Oh,
that was so choreographed.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
Right.
Typical Natalia.
Yeah.
Directing.
Yeah,
garbage.
I gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, it was. You didn't miss much. You didn't miss much. That was bad. That was not pretty. No.
What did you think?
The less said about it, the better.
Yeah. But the next match did pick the crowd back up with the Intercontinental Championship match. That was everything we thought it was going to be, and then some. That was a damn good match.
Yeah. That match was, I think I ended up tweeting about it during SmackDown that was potentially going to be match of the night, and I think ultimately it probably was, or at least my match of the night. The crowd was into it. Obviously the slaps, some big bumps. You got three big guys that know how to work, and Gunther's, his credibility, he's continues to rise. If they could get him to win the King of the Ring and continue, maybe he's the one to dethrone Roman. I don't know, right? He's another big monster that they have there. So I don't know if what they're gonna do with him, but damn, he's made to look like a star, and the fans love him as well, right? The fans love Drew, the fans love Sheamus, and the fans love Gunther. And I know he's supposed to be a heel, but finding it difficult to cheer against him.
Yeah, I know. It was freaking. My God, I love anything with just wrestlers getting in there and just beating the crap out of each other. I love a good hard hitting slobber knocker. Damn it, big meaty men slap meat, that kind of thing. You got all that and then some. I would say probably in WrestleMania history, it's got to be one of the most hard-hitting matches in WrestleMania history. I can't, I'm trying to think of anything else that hit harder than that one. Sheamus' chest was busted open. Gunther's chest was like a ridiculous black and blue. It was just it was outrageous. Jerome, what'd you think of this thing?
Match of the night for me. I loved it. Good old-fashioned, old-school triple threat brawl, and the slaps were great. The chops were great. The action was great. What did it for me was when Michael Cole and Corey Graves, they were standing up, and even Titus O'Neil, they were applauding. They gave him a standing ovation at the end. It was great. I thought Corey and Michael Cole were great on commentary during that match. Even Titus O'Neil at times made me kind of chuckle a bit. That was my favorite night of WrestleMania. Was definitely this Intercontinental title match. I thought maybe we would get Sheamus winning the title, but then when Gunther came in and did the double power bomb, I'm like, oh yeah, this is over. He's going to retain, and I'm a fan of Gunther. I wasn't before, but like I said last night on our first podcast, that after the Royal Rumble, I became a fan of Gunther, and tonight solidified that. That guy's great, and who will dethrone him? I don't know. I mean, I hope his reign continues for a little bit longer. So I do like the guy.
It could go as long as Roman Reigns' reign now at this point, And,
yeah, it could, but I don't think it will. But yeah,
but he wins his matches clean. I like that about him. I like a heel that beats the hell out of people and still wins clean. There's something about it that
makes him a believable, unstoppable heel, not this.
Roman Reigns has Roman Reigns has the schmaz finish, mastered. It's like, somebody else is going to carve out another niche if you're going to be a heel. But
time Russo booking or what? It's like
it seems like
Russo booking.
Or is it just Vince? I don't know. It hurts. Hun, what'd you think of Gunther?
I absolutely loved it. It delivered in every way possible. This is one of the matches just before like even the whole weekend started, I was looking forward to. I knew that it was going to be great. And for me, when a match that, and I didn't personally care either who won, like at all. Like, I mean, I think they made the right decision with Gunther winning for sure. He's got something really special about him. And I'm just happy that to have a match where all individuals, all parties really connected, really participated, really did their thing. And this was definitely my favorite thing of the night for sure. And it was one of the big saving graces of the Day 2 Mania. So I can't really say enough great things about it. I was happy with it.
Yeah, it's as good as it gets for professional wrestling. For me, I don't know. That's just how I felt about it. Asuka versus Bianca Belair. Now, they had an embarrassing build-up to this match. Embarrassing. It was just atrocious. I can't remember. I don't even remember if they did a video package for it because it was so bad. But it's like it's a shame that it's not a shame. Good for us that Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair really had one of the best women's matches in WWE history last night. Yeah. It's tough for Bianca Belair and Asuka to follow that, but I thought they followed with a very solid, good match. I don't think it was like great or memorable or anything like that, but it was a very solid, very good match, and it was like the kind of match that Bianca Belair has needed for a little while. And we talked about Triple H potentially having to focus on the women a little more. I'm sure a lot of people wanted Asuka to win, but it's like I think if he's gonna put all of his focus on the women, I'd want to go forward with Bianca Belair as the champion to build people around, her challenging because she got a great look, great character, and sometimes, and can go in the ring. So let's start with the resident woman here and see what she thinks about it.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, listen, yesterday that was going to be hard to top. There's no question about it. I mean, we were talking in terms of one of the best women's matches of all time for WrestleMania. And then you're talking about this one of the best matches in WrestleMania, period. So they had a lot to live up to. But just talking about their match in general, they did an amazing job. They really did. And it was good. I'm happy to see, you know what? I want to give, and I know a lot of people want Asuka. They did want Asuka to win, but I think it was best that Bianca won, because if Triple H does refocus on the women and does make that the next top priority of the changes that need to take place, give Bianca her fair chance then of having that title reign under his regime, and having that where he could really kind of like do that reset and figure out her character and everything. Because, just actually she's a very genuine person. She's really passionate about the business. And I know that's not like, that should be like, oh, you should get that because you're really passionate. A lot of people are really passionate about their jobs, right? But she really loves what she does, and I think she just has to kind of find like her niche again and where she holds place in as far as like a champion. So let her find her spot. If they could do it with Rhea Ripley, who it was very, very, scary for a while for her. Like, can she come out of this? Can she? Because she was really good, right? And she got to that point. They changed everything with her character, and she had one of the best matches of all time in WrestleMania. So give Bianca that same opportunity where she can find herself as a champion, and see where it goes, and building up more people. Because Asuka, like, has been established, and Bianca's I'm not saying she's not established, but she's still like newer in a sense. So give her that opportunity.
Yeah, she absolutely needed a match like this, and it's good to have a dance partner like Asuka who knows what she's doing in the ring and can help her out. And as much as this was about Bianca, I was kind of taken aback. I was surprised that Asuka got the reception, the ovation that she got, because she's been misused. She hasn't really been at the top for a while, but the fans are very much behind her. So it's good that they could kind of rely on her. But just like what you just said, Victoria, I totally agree in the sense of, if they're going to build the women's division to continue, this was it. She had to find that niche again, and I think she found it specifically tonight, because as Mike mentioned, the build up to it was atrocious. Like, there was practically no build up, and this match was solid. It was better than what I was expecting it to be. I thought it was going to be good, and it was even better than that. The fans were more into this one than the other women's match on this show tonight. But she needed this. And hopefully she's able to find her groove again, because if they're going to build the women's division around her, you got Rhea on one side, you're going to need Bianca on the other. So I'm confident she could do it. I think she just needed this kind of match to get herself back on there.
All right. We have one more match to talk about. And we were talking about Shane. I can't talk about Shane. The Hell in a Cell match. We always kind of, when they instituted this new, the concussion protocol and all that stuff, we're always like, if it ever happened at a WrestleMania match, would they actually do that? Would they actually stop a match and, whatever? Balor got clocked in the head hard with that ladder. It was immediately, spewing blood from his forehead or whatever, or wherever the gash was. They stopped the match. It actually happened. I think they still had a great Hell in a Cell. I do think the stoppage did hurt it. It hurt the momentum. But let's go with Jerome first. What did you think of that match? And did the stoppage hurt it for you?
I think it did. But what do you do when you have Finn Balor bleeding everywhere? You got to do something, I guess, just to check on him. Other than that, it closes the chapter, I think, with Edge and the Judgment Day. I think that feud is done, and Edge will move on to something else soon, or he'll take some time off and then come back and move on to whatever they have planned, creative has planned for him. So we'll see. But I hope Finn's okay. That looked ugly.
Yeah. I mean, they let him continue with the match. So I have to assume that he's okay. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the blow off. Hell in a Cell should be a blow off too, by the way. It's like, it was nice that they built this match up and kind of resurrected Hell in a Cell to be something important again, where like when you go into that match, it's not just because it's that time of the year for Hell in a Cell pay-per-view again. Like, it actually has to mean something. And it meant a lot to this. Like it was an appropriate feud for the Hell in a Cell match. Just stinks about the stoppage. It's like they're having such a damn good match, and then that damn stoppage. It's just like, and it's like because they were doing their psychotic characters too. It was like Brood Edge versus the Demon. It's like the Demon has to be checked for concussion protocol. Just kind of took you right out of it a little bit. But Victoria, what do you think of it?
So I have to disagree. I don't think it's, for me personally, I don't think it took it out of it. I agree with Jerome where they have to do what they have to do. I mean, it's a different time. It's a different era. Like, you want to see blood and you want to see people, like, it brings obviously authenticity to the matches because it's actually happening in real time, and people are getting hurt, and it takes away from that whole like, oh, it's scripted, it's fake, it's whatever. And that's the realness of it, that no, people get really injured and people get hurt during these matches. But I think Edge, and for me, why I don't think like it took away, because Edge played it off really well, where he's going into the ring, he's looking for more weapons, and he's kind of like in a little bit of a rage, and he's trying to think of his next move and his next step and whatever, just for safety purposes. Like, you have to do what you have to do. Because you just never know. You don't want anybody continuing on and really injuring themselves any further, especially in these type of situations. But I think overall it was a great match. One of the highlights again of the evening that really just like went really well. I really liked too, because Edge, I know Edge, and we all know Edge. Edge is awesome, right? He knows what he's doing. But with Finn Balor in particular, I think he had just a really good showing in general. Not that he hasn't been great over the past few years in certain circumstances, but I actually enjoyed his performance even more so tonight. So it's what I felt, how the match was going to go. I think that with the Judgment Day and the Edge need to just be done, I think that is what happened tonight, which is good. So then they can move on to something else and see what else happens. But I think is that actually what's really nice about this too, the fact that Edge and the Judgment Day like had a very, very rocky start of how that whole stable happened, and it was like one of the worst things. Like, you're like, oh god, this table sucks. Like, what the hell is a Judgment Day and like everything else? But now you're like, now you're totally having a 180 with this feud, and now you're like, okay, at least now that it's like fairly over, you feel like, okay, the ending really did work out in the end, and it finished on a nice note. So
Yeah. Roy, what'd you think of it?
I don't think it took too much away from the match. It sucks in a way that obviously it sucks it had to happen, period. But it sucks that it had to happen in a Hell in a Cell match with those characters like you mentioned, Mike, like the Brood Edge and the Demon Finn Balor. And in a Hell in a Cell, they're gonna stop it. Like, it's supposed to be, a no disqualification. It's a Hell in a Cell. Whatever happens, happens. But I get it. Look, it's concussion protocol. Just absolutely the right decision. And credit to Edge, he was quick to think on his feet. He realized, okay, this is a big issue. This might take a minute or two. I'm gonna get away from that side of the ring. I'm gonna go to the other side, grab some weapons. And that was a brutal match. That was hard hitting. Like, it was a really, really hard hitting match. And it got to a point where even at one point, I'm like, well, who's gonna win this? At the very start, I'm like, is it gonna be Edge? Are they finally gonna give it to Finn Balor? Because when was the last time Finn dressed up as the Demon and actually won?
So he lost to Roman Reigns that one time, and before that, it had been pre-pandemic during his first run, I guess, on the roster.
That was what, 2015, 16 or so, around that time.
His last Demon match might have been WrestleMania 35 against Bobby Lashley, I think.
There you go. So 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
So it's not, I understand why they did it. It's cool. I just kind of wish he would have gotten the win. Again, Edge doesn't need it very much towards the tail end of his career. Balor kind of needs it. He's the only one that's not doing much. Like, he's feuding with Edge, he's losing. Dominic is on the rise, doing great. Rhea's the champ. I'm guessing Priest is gonna main event Backlash versus Bad Bunny tag team match, probably against Ray. Balor needed this, and now it's kind of like, well, Balor's just in a limbo of, well, I just lost the Edge. That feud is over. What are they going to do with him now? Is he going to be stuck in a tag team? Is it going to be a singles match? But anyways, as for the match itself, I enjoyed it. Concussion protocol aside, definitely, but I thought it was a good match. And like you said, Mike, it was a blow-off match in Hell in a Cell.
Oh yeah, definitely a blow-off match. Now it's just interesting to see where they all go next.
Yeah.
But overall, it's like, right before that match, Shane blew out his quad, and then the concussion protocol, it just seemed like, a couple things didn't really click, in a big way. The crowd seemed a little more subdued, but God, during the main event, they were incredible. The crowd was absolutely incredible during that main event. And I do have to say that, the main event up until that finish was shaping up to be one of the best WrestleMania main events of all time. But as Grash says, tomorrow is a new season. It's like, like this was the season finale. We're starting a new season with a lot of the same storylines, but we'll see what happens. But I have no more voice, so I gotta end the show. So who wants to take us out? I can't even talk anymore. So I'm going to say goodbye for now.
All right. I'll actually, no, Victoria, please.
No, Roy, you got this. You're a pro.
No. I am still learning. No, but well, actually, on that note, Victoria, final thoughts?
No, overall, even though we did a lot of ranting tonight, a lot of, negativity came out of my mouth. Overall, I would say it was a successful WrestleMania weekend. If I had to look at actually analytically and like percentages of everything, I'm in the upper percentile of how I felt about this show and how I felt about the weekend in general. So, but tomorrow night, please look out for Mike and myself for the post-Raw show. Should be interesting to see if a lot of these predictions that we made in the chat and on air tonight do come true. What is to come of all of the post-WrestleMania news and everything else? What is the big news coming out of everything? We will find out. We have Jerome Weiland here, who will be reporting news, of course, for the duration of finishing off WrestleMania weekend and everything else. Make sure that you check out Roy for SmackDown and his recaps and his post-show as well. And we do hope that everybody had a fun time. We hope just real quick in the chat, give a thumbs up, thumbs down of how you felt of overall WrestleMania in general. So, Roy, final thoughts. Jerome, final thoughts.
Jerome, go ahead. Thank you, Victoria. Jerome. I think Jerome's having some technical difficulties. He's on mute.
Roy, final thoughts.
Yeah. Well, no, I thought overall it was a great weekend. Yes, the main event left a sour taste in our mouths, but like Mike just said, right? It's a new season. We're end of the season. We're getting a new season in a couple of hours. Who knows, right? Who knows what that's gonna give? But overall, WrestleMania's tend to deliver. We got some very good moments, some unpredictable stuff. Yeah, you're always gonna have some stuff that wasn't too great, but overall, I thought it was a big thumbs up. And as much as we kind of hated on the main event, a little part of me is excited to see where this all leads to. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt to see at least until the end of Raw.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
WrestleMania Saturday was one of the best. I think if it was a standalone show, it'd be one of the best WrestleManias that WWE ever produced. I thought today was disappointing just because of the main event, but that Intercontinental title match kind of saved the show for me. So I still think it was a successful weekend. I'm going to do what Roy's doing, give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm kind of curious to see what happens next.
Wait and see.
I'll be watching anyway, so I'm not going to pretend like I'm not.
Exactly. So. No, we're all suckers.
Oh, yeah. We're all going to be there at 8 p.m. Eastern watching Raw. So there you go.
All right. As Mike says it, let's put a bow on this thing. Right? You say that. Yeah, let's wrap this up. Put a bow on this thing. We have, I'm going to do what you do. Wait. Roy up here. Roy Nemmer up here. Wait. Jerome.
There you go.
Jerome there, and
Like it- yeah.
and Mike Tedesco over there.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everybody.
Be well.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Hope I get well.